Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Archana Solanki. Here are the headlines we're tracking this evening. US President Trump's tariff levies against China, Canada and Mexico come into effect. Beijing retaliates, says it would impose 10 to 15% additional tariffs on US imports and impose export curbs on 15 American companies. Canada decides to impose 25% tariffs on $107 billion worth of US imports. Trump trains his guns on agri exports, announces plans to impose new tariffs on imported agriculture products from the 2nd of April, but doesn't provide further details. China's retaliatory tariffs target US farm products, including beef, soybean and corn. Trump's new tariffs rattle stock markets across Asia and Europe, but Sensex and Nifty managed to recover in late trade to end with marginal losses. Both indices have now declined for 10 straight days, the longest losing streak on record. US pauses all military assistance to Ukraine just days after the public clash between President Trump and President Zelensky. White House says aid is being halted to determine if Ukraine is making a good faith effort to achieve a peace deal with Russia.
विश्व की इन अपेक्षाओं को हमारी इंडस्ट्री एक स्पेक्टेटर की तरह न देखे.
Prime Minister Modi asked India's manufacturing sector to step up to the opportunities on offer from the global supply chain disruption. Says India Inc. cannot view this as mere spectator and calls for big steps. IRDAI warns health and general insurers against rising commission payouts, says will impose a cap unless they take corrective action. Sources say that the regulator feels that insurers have misused the expenses of management limits by curbing their operating expenses to compensate for commissions. Cryptocurrencies crash after a sharp rally. Yesterday, nearly all gains from Trump's announcement to creating a strategic reserve have been wiped out. Ola's Bhavish Agrawal takes a leaf out of the Elon Musk playbook. Once again, asks employees to submit weekly reports outlining their accomplishments. The move comes amidst major layoffs at Ola, where the company is expected to cut over 1,000 jobs. Also on the show, we get you exclusive visuals from Prime Minister Modi's day out at Reliance's Wildlife Rescue Centre Vantara, situated in Gujarat's Jamnagar. Reliance's Vantara has been billed as the world's largest rescue, rehabilitation and conservation centre. Right, on to the big global story. The first shot in Donald Trump's much-wanted trade war has been fired. New tariff levies on imports from China, Mexico and Canada come into effect today. Most imports from Mexico and Canada will attract 25% tariffs. Canadian energy imports, including crude oil and natural gas, will attract a levy of 10%. The Trump administration has justified that the tariff hikes are aimed at stopping fentanyl smuggling across U.S. borders. The duties are expected to affect over $918 billion worth of U.S. imports from Canada and Mexico, two of America's biggest trading partners. Similarly, the U.S. government has also levied 20% tariffs against China, doubling the initial levy from last month. Both China and Canada have announced retaliatory measures against U.S. tariffs. China will impose additional tariffs of up to 15% on some U.S. goods from March 10th. The additional tariffs will entail an extra 15% levy on U.S. chicken, wheat, corn and cotton products, and an additional 10% levy on soybeans, pork, fruits and other dairy products. China has gone a step further and added 15 American companies to an export control list. This will prohibit Chinese exports of dual-use goods to these companies. Further, China has also included 10 American companies to its unreliable entities list. These firms will now be prohibited from exporting or importing in China or from making new investments in the country. Canada will also impose 25% tariffs on U.S. imports of alcohol, clothing and household appliances. The ensued tariff battle between America, Canada and Mexico will mark the end of a 3-decade-long tariff-free equation among the countries.
我们愿意在 We are willing to resolve international concerns through dialogue and consultation with the U.S. on the basis of mutual respect, equality, and reciprocity. However, we will never accept pressure or threats and will firmly safeguard our national sovereignty, security, and development interests. We hope the U.S. will work together with China to implement the important consensus reached by the two heads of state and return to the path of resolving issues through dialogue and consultation.
Are the tariffs going to hang around? We don't know, which is the uncomfortable answer. And I think it's that uncertainty which is something that we do know. So we don't know exactly if the tariffs are going to persist in what numbers, but the tariff uncertainty for sure is already weighing on sentiment both in markets and economies. And I think that uncertainty is a kind of permanent change.
The stagflationary effects on the U.S. are kind of amplified, and you get a large negative hit, probably over a several quarter period, over 1% off of U.S. real GDP, and you get a sizable boost in inflation.
Donald Trump, with his self-confessed love for tariffs, is planning to train his guns on the agriculture sector next. He has promised tariffs on U.S. imports from the 2nd of April. Manisha Gupta joins us now. Manisha, Trump's latest move to upend the global agricultural trade system. What's on the cards?
Well, thank you for that. Yes, after steel, aluminum, cars, drugs and semiconductors, the U.S. President Donald Trump is readying on tariffs on agricultural products in a fresh salvo. Trump wrote on social media, and I quote, "To the great farmers of the United States, get ready to start making a lot of agricultural products to be sold inside the United States. Tariffs will go on external products on April 2nd, end of quote. Well, Trump's announcement, however, lacked clarity on the details of the agri-products that will be affected. The proposed tariffs are expected to raise the cost of imported agricultural goods within the U.S., but this will benefit the U.S. farmers. Meanwhile, China has retaliated into the Trump's orders to double the tariffs on Chinese goods to 20%. China will impose tariffs as high as 15% on American agricultural goods, including chicken, corn and cotton. Soybeans from the U.S. will face a 10% tariff. Over the years, China has also reduced its dependence on agriculture goods from the country. The share of soybean imports from U.S. has declined to 21% in 2024 from 40% in 2016. Its imports of American corn also fell to less than $600 million last year from $2.6 billion in 2023. However, cotton imports have surged marginally in the year. Now, where does India stand when it comes to this agri-tariff war triggered by Trump? Well, sources tell us that the country is resisting the pressure to reduce its tariffs on many products, as it would impact millions of farmers within India.
All right, thank you, Manisha, for that update. So that's the big headline that we are tracking as far as Trump's tariffs are concerned. Now, Trump's new tariffs rattled the global markets. Stocks tumbled across Asia and Europe. Automobile stocks are selling off across Europe as most companies use Canada and Mexico as their manufacturing base. The Mexican peso is also weakening rapidly against the US dollar. Back in India, Sensex and Nifty declined for the 10th straight day. This is the longest losing streak for the Nifty on record. However, the losses were limited as mid-caps and bank stocks managed to buck the downtrend in trade today. Amidst a clamour by foreign institutional investors for a reduction in capital gains tax, Nilesh Shah of Kotak AMC wants all investors to be treated equally. Speaking with CNBC TV 18, he said, just reducing taxes does not guarantee returns.
Just reducing taxes does not guarantee return. What if tomorrow FPI's demand guaranteed return? Will we succumb to it? I don't think so. We should be focused on creating earnings growth and governance. We have delivered better return than all the emerging markets put together. We have delivered better return than China, Brazil, Russia, South Africa. But my recommendation will be treat all investors alike, whether it's foreigner or whether it's local.
Shares of state-run oil companies like HPCL, BPCL and IOC surged in trade today as crude oil prices continued to ease to a 3-month low. This on the back of US President Donald Trump's decision to pause military aid to Ukraine and the imposition of tariffs on Canada, Mexico and China. OPEC Plus countries also decided to proceed with a planned April oil output increase. Cryptocurrencies took a major hit today with prices falling sharply. Prices of Bitcoin slipped nearly by 10% and other cryptos like Solana fell by 20%. This comes just a day after cryptocurrencies saw a price rally on the back of Trump's announcement of a US strategic crypto reserve fund. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has urged India's manufacturing sector to step up to the opportunities on offer from the global supply chain disruptions. Speaking at the Finance Ministry's post-budget webinar, PM Modi also said that India Inc. cannot view supply chain disruptions as a mere spectator and has called for big steps.
आज दुनिया राजनीतिक अनिश्चितता के दौर से गुजर रही है। पूरी दुनिया भारत को एक ग्रोथ सेंटर के तौर पर देख रही है। दुनिया को आज ऐसे भरोसेमंद पार्टनर की जरूरत है जहां से हाई क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट्स निकले और सप्लाई रिलायबल हो। हमारा देश ये करने में सक्षम है। आप सब सामर्थ्यवान है। ये हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ा मौका है, बहुत बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है। मैं चाहता हूं विश्व की इन अपेक्षाओं को हमारी इंडस्ट्री एक स्पेक्टेटर की तरह न देखे। हम दर्शक बनकर के नहीं रह सकते हैं। आपको इसमें अपनी भूमिका तलाशनी होगी। अपने लिए अवसरों को आगे बढ़ाकर तराशना होगा।
The Petroleum Ministry has issued a demand of $2.81 billion to Reliance and its consortium partners, BP Exploration and Nico Limited. In a statement, Reliance said that this was pertaining to a long-standing dispute concerning gas migration from ONGC's blocks to the consortium's block. The government has raised the demand after the Delhi High Court Division Bench's order. Remember, the government had claimed a $1.55 billion on the consortium for alleged gas migration from ONGC blocks. However, Reliance won the arbitral award issued by the International Arbitration Panel in 2018 against government's claim. A single judge bench of the Delhi High Court had initially upheld this arbitration order, but a division bench set the order aside last month. Shares of RBL Bank slipped 2% in early trade. This comes after the Maharashtra State GST Department conducted search operations at 3 of its offices in the state. In a statement, the bank said that the proceedings are ongoing and that it's fully cooperating with authorities. The Maharashtra State Tax Officer has initiated inspection of records at Poonawalla FinCorp's registered office. In a statement, the company said that the probe was initiated after search proceedings were issued by Deputy Commissioner of State Tax. The Bombay High Court has granted a 4-week stay on a lower court's order to file an FIR against former SEBI chairperson Madhvi Puri Buch and 5 other officials. The High Court has said that the Special Court directed the Anti-Corruption Bureau to register the FIR mechanically without going into the details of an alleged fraud in 1994. Right on to a CNBC TV 18 exclusive. The insurance regulator has issued a warning to health and general insurers to enforce limits on commissions and pass on the benefits to policy holders. Remember, insurance companies get the flexibility to decide their commission structure. However, the regulator has found that all benefits went to the agents and not to the policy holders. Yash Jain is here with all the details. Yash, take us through what you're picking up.
Well, certainly some tough talk coming from the insurance regulator IRDAI to the general as well as standalone health insurance companies. What has been the primary concern for the regulator? It is that general and health insurance companies are spending excessively when it comes to their commission payouts to the distributors to sell the various general as well as health insurance policies. If you remember, about 2 years ago, that was in April 2023, the regulator had given some relaxation to the industry in terms of commission payouts, saying that we will put a limit on the headline total expenses which any insurer makes, but under that total expenses, which has 2 elements, commission as well as operating expenses, we will let you decide, that is the insurers decide how much they want to pay as commission and how much they want to pay as operating expenses. Now, what the regulator, according to our sources, has observed in the last 2 years is that companies are paying excessively, and the growth in the commission payout has been very abnormal in the last couple of years. Now, as far as that high commission payout is concerned, that is being compensated by lowering of operating expenses to stay under the headline limit on the total expenses of any insurance company. What this does is that it restricts the insurance premium or the cost of insurance products to come down for the eventual policyholders, which was in the first place the intention of the regulator by putting a limit itself. This has been the large concern for the regulator. What we've been given to understand is that the regulator has told these insurance companies that when the expenses of management guidelines come up for a review next year, that is 2026, the regulator, if these insurance companies do not take corrective measures, which is reduce commissions and pass on the benefits to policyholders, will also consider putting a limit again on individual commission itself, which will be a big negative because that will restrict the kind of expenses which these companies can make towards selling those policies itself.
Right, thank you, Yash, for that. It's time for a short break, but coming up next, Ola's Bhavish Agarwal takes a leaf out of Elon Musk playbook. Once again, asks employees to submit weekly reports outlining their accomplishments. More on that when we return. Welcome back. US President Donald Trump has paused all military aid to Ukraine after his heated argument with President Zelensky at the White House last week. In a statement, the White House said that the aid is being halted to determine Ukraine is making a good faith effort to achieve a peace deal with Russia. Reports have said that this is not a permanent move and that the president has been clear that he is focused on peace. Ola CEO Bhavish Agarwal has pulled out a page out of Elon Musk's playbook. In an initiative that he has called Kya Chal Raha Hai, Agarwal has directed all employees across his companies to submit weekly reports highlighting their weekly accomplishments. Ritu Singh joins us now with the details. Ritu, take us through Bhavish Agarwal's plan.
Well, Bhavish Agarwal has taken a page straight out of Elon Musk's playbook, requiring all Ola employees to submit weekly reports detailing their accomplishments. Now, he has rolled out a new initiative which is called Kya Chal Raha Hai, which roughly translates to what's going on, mandating all Ola employees to email 3 to 5 bullet points of their achievements to him, to their managers, and also to a company-wide email address. Now, if this whole employee output report with bullet points sounds familiar to you, that's because it is. Elon Musk, in his role at the US Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, recently implemented a similar policy for US federal employees. He'd previously done this at Twitter as well. Now, Bhavish Agarwal in the past has drawn comparisons between himself and Elon Musk, even positioning himself as India's answer to Tesla. He's been vocal about his ambitions in the EV space, often repeating the phrase Tesla for the West and Ola for the rest. Now, Bhavish Agarwal has also previously enforced strict workplace policies, including cracking down on poor attendance, where in December in a letter, he had told employees to have, and I quote, the basic self-respect to not fleece the company by not even turning up for work, end of quote. He's backed Narayan Murthy's 70-hour work week debate. He's dismissed weekends off as a Western concept as well. So this latest message is not really a surprise, but the timing of this initiative does raise questions because Ola Electric is currently undergoing major restructurings and layoffs with more than 1,000 job cuts expected across departments. So while this may be framed as a move for accountability, employees may see it as added pressure amid growing job insecurity.
Right, thank you, Ritu, for that. Moving on, Maharashtra Minister Dhananjay Munde has resigned from his post after State Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis asked him to. This comes after Munde's close aide was being named as an accused in the murder of a sarpanch in Maharashtra's Bid district. Now, Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena has strongly criticized the state government, stating that a resignation from a ministerial post is not the solution for the ongoing crisis. Dhananjay Munde is a leader of the Ajit Pawar-led NCP. For Pune, 2025 began with a health scare. Hospitals saw a sudden influx of patients suffering from GBS. Since then, multiple cases have emerged from Delhi, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka. CNBC TV 18 Santya Gora and Shilpa Ranipeta report that GBS has claimed 25 lives so far.
Last year, 64-year-old Delhi-based realtor Rohit Gurtu felt a tingling sensation in his limbs. The pain spread to upper limbs and back. He ignored the pain for a couple of days before consulting his doctor.
I went and saw a doctor. Now this doctor made me do some tests like sodium test, potassium test, a brain scan and a spine scan, which turned out to be all clear. It's then that I went to a neuro and I told him my symptoms. He spoke to my doctor and he immediately told me I had GBS.
The Guillain-Barré syndrome, GBS, is an autoimmune disorder where the body's immune system attacks the peripheral nervous system. It causes weakness, tingling and numbness in limbs, and in some cases, it leads to paralysis.
It usually typically starts with a weakness. Weakness usually starts from lower limb going up to the upper limbs, but there are variants where it actually can start from the upper limbs and go down to the lower limbs. And there are some other variants where the cranial nerves, which are the nerves involved, which actually originate from our brain, they get involved as well.
The first GBS outbreak of 2025 was reported on the 9th of January in Pune. Since then, hospitals have seen a surge in GBS cases, prompting authorities to test water samples.
GBS is typically waterborne or foodborne. However, the health department has ruled out a foodborne outbreak as patients had no common food history. Authorities now attribute the outbreak to contaminated water. So far, over 7,000 water samples have been collected in Pune, with 138 testing positive.
GBS is non-communicable. Doctors suggest that if someone is experiencing weakness in limbs, double vision, and is unable to cough, they should immediately seek medical attention.
The treatment essentially depends on two aspects. One is to try and stop this autoimmune process in the body by stopping the distraction of the nerves. And the second would be supportive of whatever damage has already been caused.
Since the outbreak in Pune, cases have also been reported in Delhi, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh and Kerala. GBS has claimed 25 lives so far, 21 from Maharashtra and 25 from the rest of the country. Doctors say immediate medical attention is the best way to deal with GBS, and a delay of even a day or two can worsen a patient's condition.
The central government has extended support to Maharashtra's health department in combating GBS. The Union Health Ministry has issued a set of guidelines to affected municipal bodies, urging the hospitals to monitor early warning signs and prepare a rehabilitation plan for patients. WHO teams are also on the ground assisting health authorities. In Mumbai with Shilpa Ranipeta and camera person Deepak, this is Santya for CNBC TV 18.
And before we wrap up this edition of Business 360, we leave you with visuals from Prime Minister Modi's day out at Vantara, situated in Gujarat's Jamnagar. Reliance's Vantara has been billed as the world's largest wildlife rescue, rehabilitation and conservation centre.